use that word, not usually lightly, fearful, but it's I believe the onus is on entrepreneurs and people to figure out better models and better ways to do things that are going to align incentive structures with people and planets and business objectives and goals. So that's the contradictory part, is that people might be able to say, but I don't think it's contradictory necessarily, because I've been building that stuff for such a long time and not doing the traditional models that lead to the problems. So I think it's up to the entrepreneurs and people like myself to provide new alternatives and options that are going to help more and more people. So on the technology side, can you repeat the actual? We were talking about the contradictory thing, but what was the actual question?
Your constant questioning. How does this give you a unique perspective in comparison to many of your entrepreneurial colleagues? So, for instance, when I listen to what you're talking about, there's nothing negative in this. It's just I wonder, might we marry business more with philosophy to where, say, the shareholders of the future are they have philosophical discussions, not just monetary or technological discussions about what they're doing. So I'm curious with this questioning of where technology is going, which is actually something that I'm quite interested in because I find that there's a lack thereof.
Yeah,
How does it inform you differently than a lot of those with whom you've come across over the years?
I think principle based actions is something that I take is very important. I don't want to do things if they're not going to want to be done to me. So I think there might be some differences there when you have people that are doing things for money, and they're not doing it for what their beliefs are. They're doing things that they're doing to because they're being driven by a certain thing. For me, I realized a while ago that the my goal is, and the what that I do, is to be of service to people. I think if you're driven towards helping people and you're driven towards doing good for other people, to me that's happiness, and that's where I can feel much joy with doing that. And then I use my problem solving formulas in order to carry out my being of service to people to the extent that I can. So that's where there's a little bit of difference. I think if everybody was shifted towards doing good for others and creating positive impact that's going to impact as many people as possible, that's where I think the difference comes from what I do and being raised in a family that aligns with that, and living up to and having certain principles. Like I don't take outside capital, so I don't take investor money. That's something that's important to me, because I don't like to be beholden to people that are looking for a return, and that might impact the way I want to carry out my mission, because now I have to give them monthly shareholder returns. So being principle based and really believing on things, and I do that not because it's generally easier. It's not. It's harder, but I just have to figure a way to do that, and because I wouldn't feel right to myself to do that if I don't think that's the best way to do that. I know it's going to lead to problems to me down the road. Now, I'm not saying that some don't need to take investor money, and I invest in companies, but I just believe if there's a better way to do things that will give me more freedom and more opportunity for me to do things at my own pace, and do things in a way that I don't have others expecting a return for me. So I think being principle driven, understanding that it's harder, but you don't sacrifice your principles just because something is harder, and you do whatever you can in order to stick to your principles. And if you're a problem solver, you come up with solutions and you envision how you're going to do that, and you don't accept the way things commonly are just because they're easier. So if there was more of a focus towards people being principally based and understanding that they're there to be of service to other people rather than going for their own particular needs, I think we'd live in a much better world, and that would help to shape a technology revolution.
You've been listening to the Gold Silver Bitcoin podcast. To listen to this episode uninterrupted, click the link in the description or go to goldsilverbitcoin.com and shop our selection of precious metals, blockchain tools, and survival gear. Thanks for listening, and remember, it's your choice.